everybody, and welcome to Coaster Conquistador. My name is Zach, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Jackrabbit at Kennywood, the park's 1920 John A. Miller Woodie. Yes, you heard that right, 1920. This coaster is 102 years old as of when this video is being made, and it's one of the most historically significant coasters to date. But why is that? Well, first, let me give some quick background. Around the early 1900s, most coasters used what's called side friction. Instead of having typical upstop wheels like most modern coasters today, the coaster only features two sets of wheels on every wheel assembly. They are road wheels, which ride on top of the track, and guide wheels, also known as side friction wheels, which ride on the side of the track. But because there is no form of upstop, these coasters could not perform any extreme elements. And that's where John A. Miller comes in. Now, Jackrabbit is credited with being one of the first coasters to use upstop wheels, which makes it extremely historically significant. So, like I said, Jackrabbit opened way back in 1920, making it one of the oldest currently operating coasters on the planet. It's located right at the front of the park, and the queue line is just a few switchbacks, and then this large turn section, I guess, around the ride's first turn out of the station. Now, the station has first come, first served seating, so I would definitely try to get the back, which you'll see why later, but these restraints are absolutely nuts. It's basically just a seatbelt and then a single position grab bar. I mean, that's just crazy. I know there are some coasters like Alan Herschel, Mad Mice don't have restraints, but for a coaster as extreme as Jackrabbit, these are about the best restraints you can get. Kennywood owns 3 trains for this coaster, however during my visit they're only operating 2. Now because of the way this coaster's blocks are laid out, it can soundly run 2 trains. You got your station, you got your pre-lift, and as soon as you detach from the chain lift, you got another block. At the end of that block you got your final breakdown, as well as your separate unload station. So yeah, this coaster is perfect for 2 train ops. Now let's get into the ride experience. The coaster dispatches and then you have a slow turn out of the station. The train bounces quite a bit on this turn. I assume that's because of the extremely low age, but I mean, it's kind of funny. Then you head down your first major drop into the ravine, and if you're in the back you may get a quick little pop of floater, but you really won't get much airtime on this drop. It's pretty forgettable. Anyway, after that, you pop up into a little turnaround, an enclosed turnaround actually, and you hit some anti-rollbacks on the way up, as you do with all of the turnarounds on this coaster, because it does not have the best pacing on the larger elements. This turnaround doesn't give any laterals, but it's enclosed, so that adds to the fun and atmosphere of the element. You dive out of the tunnel, again, not really getting any airtime unless you're in the back, and even if you're sitting back there, you won't get much. But here's where the ride starts to get good. You head up your 40-foot chain lift, heading out of the ravine, and you're kind of coming back into the park here. You do a slow turnaround into the legendary double down. Oh yeah, this element is amazing. You know, if you just had your typical PTC trains with ratcheting lap bars, you know, this would still be a fun element, but with these seat belts and those non-restrictive grab bars, this element is extremely chaotic. I mean, if your seatbelt wasn't there, you would fly all the way into that Allegheny River. The airtime on the second hill of the double down is very sustained, and it is pretty strong. So I can imagine at the time, this is probably the most extreme coaster anywhere. Anyway, after this, you have another lackluster turnaround and a lackluster drop into your final brake run. In terms of space, Jackrabbit is a pretty compact coaster, but it is also a terrain coaster, which is accentuated on the double down and all of the drops into the ravine. Jackrabbit is not a perfect coaster. I mean, the pacing on the larger elements is not that great. Some of the valleys are a little bumpy, but that's to be expected. That's to be expected from a 102-year-old Woodie. But overall, Jackrabbit is a very pleasant experience. So for this coaster's final score, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. If I were judging it against other coasters at the time and on its historical significance, it would get a 10, however, so I might go with that. I think it's only fair. I mean, the double down is amazing, plus this coaster is just so historically significant for the coaster industry as a whole. So before I wrap up this video, I just want to do the Jackrabbit rap. Jackrabbit is a 1920 John A. Miller Woodie, and this coaster is truly a goodie. The double down, it takes the crown of every coaster element, and it drives him to the ground. The coaster also tracks well, which is swell. Yeah. Alright, sorry to hear that. Anyway, that just about does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure to stay tuned for more coaster content, and I will see you next time.